Okay, I got to do the video in the dark. I'm sitting in my living room. My husband is snoring up a storm, which I think is kind of cute, but, you know, I can't sleep anyway. I've got so much in my mind. I'm really into this mental dumping right now, just getting a bunch of things out of my head. And, you know, I was thinking a lot today about religion. And I kind of want to, this might be two parts, because it's very long. And this is my YouTube channel, and it's like my diary, so I'm going to talk about my religion, my journey, my spiritual journey. I do believe I mentioned one time in my video, one of my videos, since I was a child, I was aware that there was God. I knew that there was something out there that was bigger than me. I mean, I knew it. I mean, I could feel it. I knew it, and I just, and I remember when I was younger, I think maybe this is like maybe 1970, because we moved in our house in 1974, and my dad was building a additional room to the house, so we hired somebody to help build the additional room in the house, who was a Jehovah's Witness. And I was too young really to understand, all the meetings. But when I got a little bit older, I was about 14 years old. Oh, okay, I'm going to go back up a little bit. Okay, we studied with Jehovah's Witnesses as a family for maybe about 2 or 3 years. And then they stopped. And then they sent us to like a Baptist church for a while. And my parents never attended. They just sent us. And I believe it was more for social reasons than anything else. But still, at first I enjoyed going to the little church. I was like maybe in first grade at the time, and I can remember things. I have a very good memory. And I was excited about going to church. I remember getting dressed up every Sunday and looking really cute in my little patent leather shoes and going to church. And what I used to find really exciting was I did like to look at the baptisms, and the baptisms were very interesting to me. But for the most part, a lot of it was just like nursery school type stuff, so I would do like color pictures or whatever. So I didn't really get a lot of spiritual information at those churches or anything. But then when I was like 14 years old, I started studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, and because I remember that we studied as a family, and I was really excited about, picking up my study. My mother wasn't happy about it because she did not particularly like the ideas of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I know that my parents argued about the studies before because, they didn't celebrate Christmas and all this other stuff. Growing up, I would like to talk about some of my weird, strange experiences that I had. Like, I would have issues in the middle of the night. Like, I'd wake up and I would experience what some people would call, like, phenomena, But I was really little, and you never know. It could have been the dream state or whatever. But it did increase my interest into the unknown. It made my interest in the unknown very intense. And, I would probably be able to go into a little bit more of this in person with somebody, but this is just me, jotting down my feelings and recording them. Anyway, so I started studying Jehovah's Witnesses, and because I was so young at the time, and I got like a lot of. Because I was very young at the time, that was my only worldview. It didn't really occur to me. I just felt like Jehovah's Witnesses had the truth. And for many years, I believed that. And I studied with Jehovah's Witnesses all the way until I was like in my 20s. And then I started seeing things that I didn't particularly like within that group. And I did have an interest in mysticism, or what some people would call the occult, in my youth. Now, before you start panicking and thinking the occult means the unseen, the unknown, okay? So a lot of people have misconceptions about what the occult is. Am I affiliated with the occult as an adult? I'm going to say no. But I think a lot of people have an interest in the occult. What I mean by the occult is the unknown, things that pertain to the spiritual world, ghosts, Ouija boards, and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I do remember when I was a teenager, somebody brought in the teacher allowed, the science teacher allowed a Ouija board to come into our class, and I guess he regarded it as a project. Whatever. Anyway, so these things, I was a little interested in it because I'm being exposed to it. So of course I'm going to be interested, and I'm going to experiment. Now, because I'm admitting that I experimented with those things, doesn't mean that people should immediately judge me. Many people experiment with this sort of stuff. If a lot of teenage girls, they get together, they play things like Bloody Mary, or they play Ouija boards themselves, okay? Doesn't mean it's a part of your entire life. It's just something that you experienced at one point in your life. So I have done that in my life, and I would say that I did that for very many years. I had a very deep interest in it. As an adult, I would say that, I feel as though I've studied enough religion in my life that I do have a sense of what is right and what is wrong, and I do believe that I have a relationship with God. I have not, and like I said, I'm not going to go into too much mysticism. Would I say it was a part of my past? Yes. Now, there has probably been rumors about me having all kinds of abilities, and so these are rumors. They're rumors. Do I have intellectual abilities? Yes. Do I have abilities to do any? When I was younger, I did experience premonitions. A lot of people do. I would say, as an adult, these things are not. They don't occur. I just don't experience them like I used to, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't really plug myself into those interests anymore. In the 90s, when Wicca was really popular. Now, I'm going to explain something about Wicca. Wicca is mostly for people of a European base, but if people who showed an interest in Wicca, Wicca is to the pagan community what Christianity is to the religious people here in the United States. It's very mainstream, okay? So like, you go into a bookstore, you're going to see most books in the religious section because we live here in the United States. Most of the books are going to be on Christianity. So if you go to like a store that relates to like an occult store, then you're going to find most of the books are going to relate to Wicca because Wicca was a very popular, and it's more mainstream than anything else. So, like, it doesn't matter your racial background, because there's a lot of people who practice Santeria, some people practice voodoo, some people practice other faiths or ideas or religions that relate to their own race or their cultural background. But you're going to find more and that relates to pagan-type belief systems. You're going to find far more information on Wicca than you're going to find anything else. So, of course, I read into Wicca when I was back in the 1990s, and I would say that it was an earth-based faith that I did find interesting at in time. And of course, I went to meetings and met people and talked to people and that sort of stuff. And I don't regret any of it because I feel as though the study of all these studies that I've taken and observed and experienced has made me a well-rounded person. I'm not saying that I know everything. I'm just saying is, it's very natural to have an interest in those sort of things. As an adult, I would say that I feel as though I've learned enough. And so some people will say, well, why don't you go to church? I have never been to a church that I have felt stuck close to Scripture. And that's just my choice. And I don't feel as though going to church is something that I really want to do. Do I have a sense of what's right and wrong? Yes, I do. Do I believe I have a relationship with God? Yes, I do. But that's not something that needs to be explained to anybody. And what bothers me is that, I'm in a community, or at least it used to be. I mean, when I first moved here, everybody was talking about that, like it was a requirement to a job or something. And I thought that was very strange. It was just really weird. I tend to be I'm in a place where, I'm not saying it's archaic, but I would say that true professionalism is very hard to find, and a lot of people don't realize that these sort of issues should never be brought up in the workplace. But since I'm talking about it, I'm sharing some of my experiences in the things that I've dabbled in. So let's see some of the things that I've read. I've read into Christianity. I've read into just the Bible. Okay, I've read into the Bible, Old Testament as well as New Testament. I read into Judaism. I've read a little bit into the Hindu faith. I've read a little bit into the Buddhist faith. I'm not Buddhist. I'm not any of those. I wanted to read into them. I've been accused of being Muslim, never had an interest in it, don't know much about it, never picked up any books about it, but I have read articles about people who were Muslim. Never occurred to me to show any interest in that faith. Let's see, what else did I read into? Catholicism. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't know all about I still don't know everything about Catholicism, but I did remember as a child thinking it would be kind of interesting to be a nun, because I was a very spiritual child, and I thought maybe being in a constant state of prayer or servitude to God was something that I wanted to do. So I did think about that. I really did. I still to this day find myself constantly talking to myself. Or when I'm not really talking to myself, I feel like I have conversations with God. That's how I am. I consider myself to be a spiritual person. I am not affiliated with the religion, but I'm a very spiritual person. What else? So, okay, I read into that. I read into Mormonism. I remember my father explained a little bit about Mormonism, so I wanted to get the Book of Mormon, and I got a Book of Mormon, and I started reading about it. So when it comes to religion, or identifying with one, I just don't want to do that. I don't want to be a part of any religion, and that's my choice as an American citizen, and I choose not to affiliate with a religion, and that's my choice, and it's my choice as an American citizen, and I don't want to ever be a part of a religion, and I don't do, and I feel like I have every right to feel that way, only because most of the people that I know I don't see very many good examples of it. And that's just my personal experience. It's my personal choice. And that's not to say that I'll always be that way, but, when it comes to work, that should not even come into play. It should never come into play. And most of the people who are constantly bitching about the whole religious issue are horrible. They set horrible examples for all of that. So that's not something that I want in my life. I just don't. I want my relationship, I do, with God, and I don't feel as though I need to be a part of any affiliation. That's my choice. And, but, like I said, I have studied a lot of different religions. I have experimented. And, some of these stories I would like to, if I find a good friend, I would probably share some of them, because some of them are kind of weird, but it's just something that I would rather just share with a close friend. But, I've had my share of religion, and I would say that I'm content. I am a very content person, and you know what? I'm at peace. I'm at peace with my religious views. I call them spiritual views. Religion and spirituality are two different things. Religion is when you're following like a doctrine, something that is like maybe rituals or customs or whatever, traditions. Spiritual is something that I feel is my belief system fills me on many levels. I am content. I feel very happy, and I don't feel as though I'm wandering around in the dark. I am 100% fulfilled in my spiritual stance, and I don't have to justify that to anybody at all. I think I have a good set of morals. Does that mean that I've never committed sin or that I'm perfect? No, I'm not perfect, but I'm very satisfied. I'm satisfied with where I'm at, and I don't have any desire whatsoever to wear a mask like a lot of the people that I've known. I think that I think of myself as an honest person. and I'm not saying I've never lied or ever did anything wrong. I'm just saying is I try very hard. If I make a mistake, I try to correct my actions. And that's all I can do. I don't want to pretend to be or act like I'm offended when somebody says a bad cuss word. I don't want to pretend that, you know, I'm just above that sort of thing. Okay, I know good and well that I have my flaws. I know good and well I have errors and I do things that are wrong. But I try not to do them deliberately. And once I do catch myself, I retract it and I try really hard not to do it again. So anyway, maybe I don't have to make this 2 parts. I think, unless of course people have specific questions. But no, I mean, I don't like the idea of people shoving religion down my throat. I don't like the idea of people, especially the people that I had to deal with. These people are horrible examples of Christianity. Okay, if they are representing Jesus Christ, they seem like they're representing the other guy. Okay, I'm not impressed with what I've seen, and you know, a lot of people think, well, if you don't go to church, that you don't have any morals. You don't have any standards. Believe me, I have morals. Okay, I don't believe in hurting other people. I don't believe in forcing my views on other people. I believe in. Would I say that I'm more? Do I see God in nature? Yeah, I do. I do, because when I like certain sunny days, and I mean sunny days. I do enjoy sunny days. I do enjoy, you know, being in nature. I enjoy nature walks. I enjoy being around those sort of things. And I will say that, you know, certain old churches, I do feel a deep sense of spirituality in certain old church buildings, like the ones with the steep temples and the stained glass, and some of those feelings that I get in those kind of churches, those real churches, okay, the ones that were built based on, what do you call it? I want to say sacred geometry, but I guess I'm not really thinking of the right word. But those places, those, I call them dwelling spaces of very strong spiritual energy, have an amazing spiritual feel to them, and I enjoy being in those places. But as far as the fake Christianity mass that I've seen, I don't want any part of that. I just don't. You know, there's so many phony people that I've met that don't know anything about Christianity, and you can just look at them and tell that they are nothing but fake, phony people. And I don't want to hear it from them. So, gosh, you know, this is really late, and this is a really terrible video. I mean, I may not even post it, but I'm just clearing out my head, and I feel like it's really necessary to clear out my head right now, because I need to be able to get all of this frustration out so that I can get my life together and formulate a plan to get out of this nightmare. I mean, I want out of this town. I don't want to be here anymore. And, you know, I'm deserving of a good quality life. I mean, a life where I can meet people and I can feel comfortable, and I don't have to, you know, feel like I'm supposed to wear this mask. Because, I mean, this is what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with people who don't have the slightest clue of what Christianity is about, and yet they want to shove this made-up idea of what Christianity is about down everybody's throat when they're just as ignorant. I'm not saying everybody, but the people who got involved in this, they're just ignorant, and I don't want to deal with them. So, and they've affected my life unnecessarily. So, you know, in order for me to move on, I need to clear out all the negativity. So I'm making these videos as a form of mental cleansing, and it's important for me, you know. I would say that I enjoy moments of solitude. I enjoy, like I said, I love nature. I'm constantly thinking about, you know, spiritual things. My mind is always on spirituality. So when I look back at my youth and think about being a nun at that time, that's not unusual. I mean, I'm not surprised by that, because I think that that it fits my personality. I'm a very spiritual person, and and some people don't understand that, because if you don't go to church, you're not spiritual. No, I don't need other people to build my faith. I don't need other people to be able to build my faith. I don't need anybody trying to convince me or try to make me believe what I believe. I believe in what I believe. I truly do, and I'm a very happy person because of it. I don't have to, and I am happy. Some people, well, you don't really have any friends here. You know what? I don't need those kind of friends. Okay, I am happy enough within myself that I don't have to resort to hanging out with people that are not worthy of me. I don't need that, and I can see that. Okay, I know that I deserve to be around people who truly appreciate me for me, and I don't have to wear a mask. So I'm a content person. That's not me making it up to try to make myself feel better or whatever. Believe me, if I wanted to lower my standards and associate with members of the collective, I guess I can do that, but I'd be one miserable person. I can tell you that right now. So I want to be around the genuine people, and I know that's very hard to find, okay? But still, I deserve to have a good paying job. I deserve to have a job that I feel excited about. I deserve to be in, professional organizations and associate with people, and I deserve to make quality friends. I deserve that. I deserve that, and that's what I want. And religion aside, I mean, when you're dealing with people, it's so archaic. It's archaic, and it shows a sign of major ignorance. It is an ignorant thing to bring religion into the workplace. It just is. It just is. I mean, especially when you're somebody who's involved in recruiting or something like that. Like, you should know better. There's posters on the wall for that sort of thing. So, anyway, I have like 4 minutes to this video, and I probably didn't explain all my information very well about my beginnings, my origins. All I can really tell you is that since I was a child, I had an interest in God, and I would watch television shows like TBN, which I think is, I'm not going to go on and on about that channel, but I'm not a fan of it. I think it's BS, but I used to watch it. I would do anything I could to get as much information as I could about God, and I wasn't raised in in a religious home. It was something that was just inside me. It was just something that I wanted. I wanted very closely to be in constant meditation, in constant thought on spiritual things. That's what I wanted all my life, and I gravitated towards that. And like I said, it wasn't encouraged by my family. Nobody forced me. It was just something that I felt I wanted. And to this day, I'm pretty much still the same when it comes to that. I mean, I've changed a lot in some ways, but when it comes to, how I feel and what's on my mind and my morals and whatnot, it's pretty much the same. But it's evolved, and I feel like I'm more of a well-rounded person. And I'm very understanding. I could be friends with Hindu people. I can be friends with Buddhist people. I can be friends with Christian people. I can be friends with Jewish people. I can be friends with a lot of people. And I'm not offended if they talk to me about their prayers, and I'm not going to sit there and feel threatened or scared or, angry at them feeling what they have the right to express, which is their view of their spirituality. I don't doubt when a Catholic woman says that she got her prayer answered, I don't sit there and scoff and look at her like she's lying. I believe her. Okay? And just because somebody might, now, I'm not saying Catholicism is fake. I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that I believe that some people get their prayers answered, okay, regardless of what religion they affiliate with. It's not for me to discuss. It's not for me to even question, okay? That's just my stance on it, okay? It's not something that people need to shove down my throat. I don't want it shoved down my throat. You know, and for people who are true Christians, well, I have a very strong admiration and respect for these people. Mind you, so far to date, I have met none. Okay, I used to believe that certain people I knew were Christians. After this, they're off my list. Okay, they're not on my list anymore. I do see them as fake Christians because they would have never involved themselves in this crap in the first place. So everyone that I thought was Christian has been a complete and utter, liar. There have been nothing but like wearing that mask. That's not to say that there's not true Christians out there. I'm sure there are, but they're very few and far between. Okay, I'm wrapping up this video. Got 1 more minute left. This is my journal. This is my diary, sort of. And it's just me jotting down my thoughts and my beliefs and what I've experienced. Just to get my thoughts out. I'm doing everything I can to cleanse myself so I can move ahead because I'm so tired of fucking just stressed out, being depressed, and being persecuted in a community that I never did anything. The only thing I did was I rolled into this town with my brown skin. That was enough to piss them off, and and that's it, And yet they're going to turn around and make it a religious issue. Okay, I'm not saying everybody here is like that, but people I've dealt with, it's not good, not good. Anyway, got 10 seconds left. I'm wrapping up this video. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.